Evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's special session, discussion on health. And tonight is going to be really special because for many reasons. मतलब आज जो discussion, जो conversation आप सुनेंगे, that is very very important because this is what we see around us. Probably we are some of us are going through this. So जो आज का जो conversation है बहुत ही important है आपके और आपके family के लिए. And second most important thing, why this discussion? In this digital age, especially in this social media, we get to hear a lot of things around us, and it becomes very difficult इस चीज को डिसाइड करने के लिए कि ये इम्पोर्टेंट है या नहीं है या किसको फॉलो करें किसको फॉलो नहीं करें. एंड आज हम बहुत फॉर्चुनेट है बिकॉज जो आज हमारे जो गेस्ट स्पीकर है ही इज द मेंटर ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम, ही इज कोच. उनका बैकग्राउंड के बारे में आप जरूर सुनेंगे अभी. और जो आप उसका बैकग्राउंड है, जो भी चीज आप यहाँ सुनेंगे आज, जो आप कन्वर्सेशन सुनने वाले हैं, ये रिसर्च बेस्ड है, ये साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन है. And this has helped many people, and that is why we thought that it is very very important for us to bring this topic to you. So our guest speaker tonight is Farokh Tarapore. He has more than 4 decades of active sporting career. I I have known Farooq for more than 2.5 decades, and trust me, not even 1 gram here and there. या कभी भी मैंने उनको 2.5 decade से भी ज्यादा मैं जानता हूँ और कभी भी मैंने ये सारी चीजें नहीं देखी है. He is a senior nutritionist. He is certified. He is certified nutritionist. He is Olympian. He has won so many Asian Games and Arjuna Awardee हैं. ये मैं आपको क्यों बता रहा हूँ बिकॉज जिसका 4 decade से ज्यादा एक्टिव स्पोर्टिंग करियर है इन ओलंपिक्स इन एशियन गेम्स, इमेजिन करिए वो बैकग्राउंड और कितना सारा चीज सीखे हुए हैं. सो वेलकम फारूक, वेल गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम.
Uh,
वेलकम टुनाइट.
Thank you, Raj, for that great introduction, and good evening, everyone. So let's get
एंड
started.
या लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. सो फरूक, आज का जो क्वेश्चन है ये सारे बहुत ही बेसिक क्वेश्चंस हैं. बेसिक इन टर्म्स ऑफ सुनने में बेसिक लगता है लेकिन बहुत हर घर को कई बार ये परेशान कर देते हैं ये क्वेश्चन. सो लेट मी स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. जो आपका मंत्रा है, हर घर तंदुरुस्त हर घर मेडिसिन फ्री, ये जो आपका मंत्रा है, व्हाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट इन टुडेज एज when probably we can get a medicine in 10-minute time, it can get delivered to our house. And आज का जो ये टेक्नोलॉजी एज है, when the medical science has done so much of advancement, why do you think it is important हर घर तंदुरुस्त and हर घर medicine free?
Well, as you rightfully said, that technology has really advanced. Medicine has made great advance in the last 10 years. And this advance is not going to stop. It's going to keep going on and on. But what one should not forget is that the third largest killer after cardiac problems and cancer is medication. And what is happening now is that, the reason why I got very passionate about this was that when I used to compete, there used to be a body called World Anti-Doping Agency. And I found that most of the stuff that you get from a chemist store, that is this modern medicine, had some items in the exempted or the restricted category in WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping Agency. And hence it got me thinking, why is this banned? Why is this restricted? And then further research showed that, it has massive side effects and it can become a killer. To give you a very simple example, many people say that diabetes runs in my family. I have this simple theory that diabetes doesn't run in your family. You get diabetes because nobody in your family runs. ये इतना basic है, but yet if you see today that people are so scared, they don't know, when to take medicine. See, this is not a program which is like telling you not to, go to doctors or, the doctor. The medicine, I mean, today has reached such a level that the scary part of it is that while it is good, it's a double-edged sword. Okay. It can keep a dead man alive. And I tell you, Raj, nothing scares me more than, having the thought process that I don't want to remain, in a vegetative state. I want to ensure that, I'm fit and healthy and I don't sort of, linger around. Life and death is a cycle and it's a process. Everyone's got to die at some age, right? But can you just think about that, when you die, you die, like a normal death and just not, be stuck with medication. Most of the problems of medication have started from lifestyle challenges. Now, this is extremely simple, that if you got a lifestyle problem, should you be first get attracted towards medicine, or you should first try and change the lifestyle that caused the problem? Okay, because if you get attracted to medication, okay, again, don't get me wrong, okay, this is not a anti-medicine talk kind of thing. Medicine is good for people. Like, suppose you got a mosquito bite and you got malaria or dengue or something, if you got malaria, you got to take quinine. You got a fracture, you got to go to the hospital and fix it. And technology is good. It's fixing fractures today as compared to fixing fractures 100 years ago. There's a huge difference, and that's good. There's a lot of robotic surgeries that have come out, which can improve quality of life. All that stuff is good, but as I keep repeating, it's a double-edged sword. All right. And people need to understand that if you have a lifestyle problem, instead of rushing to medication, just pause a little bit and say, hey, am I going to be only treating the symptoms, or am I going to treat the cause here? So because if you treat the cause, automatically you won't have symptoms, and then you won't have to rely on medication. We have on this community, been helping so many people now. We had a recent case of somebody who was on 35 units of insulin 4 months into a community program, and the guy was off insulin. I mean, can you imagine what a change in the guy's lifestyle, his whole, confidence, the way he moved around, the way, looked at life, everything changed so dramatically. So that is the reason why we have put our mission statement as, Herger healthy, Herger medicine, because we want to bring, as you rightfully mentioned, that there is, a lot of the information available on the internet. But wisdom lies in separating that fact from fiction. And that needs experience. All right. And this community provides you the experience. Also, what I've noticed is that when people try to, have these healthy habits and all on their own, it's very difficult. But when they join a community, each one gets strength from somebody else. And they sort of, feel that, okay, if so-and-so could, improve his diabetes levels from, some crazy levels of like 8 or 9 to, 5.6 or something like that, then why can't I do it? And maybe I can do the same thing. So this is what this whole community is all about. This is what this whole program is all about. So you really encourage people, to join, get your friends and family into the program and make this program, the community bigger, and spread this good word around that if you have a lifestyle challenge, first figure out the lifestyle changes you need. Okay. We will not discuss over here that is it easy or not easy. It's all irrelevant in my opinion. It's when people figure out, okay, most people rush to medication because they feel that's the only option that they have been, they have grown up with. So when they grow up, with the option that, there is another way out, people will want to try and exercise that option. And when they exercise that option, they start feeling so good about themselves, they reduce weight, Today, most of the problems are because of weight. I mean, I remember, during our days when we used to go to school, everybody in the school was, like used to call him Sukda, thin guys, and there was one very mota guy who used to be called Mota, particularly.
Yeah.
Okay. Abhi, the whole situation is reversed. That everybody seems to be mota and there's one very thin guy around. Okay. And the reason is that during our days, we ate less calories, but the nutrition that we got was a lot more than what people are getting today. Food, the food produce that you are getting has got corrupted. A lot of genetic modified food is coming. And when you really go deep into and do research on all these subjects, you start to realize that, my God, how little nutrition is today really left on the food. And that is the reason why people have to have a different kind of a mindset and, get into some kind of a good supplementation program also. Because at the end of the day, okay, you need to give your body the amount of nutrition that you need. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Farokh. Now, this brings me to the second question. You just spoke about that diabetes doesn't run in the family. It's nobody run, hence the diabetes happens, right? Now, recently we heard of an incident where this person was from South Africa. He used to run Ironman, complete super athlete, used to do all the right things, but still he died of pancreatic cancer. Now that puts another question in our head, like if this guy who was like perfect, like compared to most of us, he was doing most of the things correct. If he could die of pancreatic cancer, what about others? So what's your view on this thing?
Well, the word, that the sentence, the phrase that we advocate in our community is that if you give the body the right amount of nutrition and the right amount of exercise, not too much and not too little, you'd have found the safest way to health. All right. Now, this is a very simple statement, extremely simple statement, but extremely misunderstood. See, we did not say, climb Mount Everest. We did not say run marathons. We said give the body rest. So when sometimes, why do these top level athletes face these kind of problems? I mean, you've heard so many cases. Somebody like Lance Armstrong, okay, who had cancer. And so when you give the body too much stress, there's too much oxidative stress, then then the body is capable of handling. You get into these kind of problems. So this guy comes under the category of overexerting, creating too much oxidative stress, and hence, the body started developing free radical damage. So you have to be very careful over here. And the important thing over here is to understand how to feel your body. Because if you feel your body well, now trust me, this is not easy. Okay. Very few people have the gift to be able to feel the body accurately enough to distinguish between, what is too little and what is too much. So over here, since too much is the problem, let's focus on the too much part. All right. When do you stop? You get all these phrases, no pain, no gain, so people get, psyched by doing that. Oh, let me do more. But no, you got to be very, very careful. And one of the things that, I used to always promote whether it was, weightlifting or whether it was exercising, slow is fast. Okay. The slower you do it, the more gradual you do it, the more you give your body an opportunity to stabilize, you will find. I used to be very fascinated by this Olympic champion from Greece. He was one of the first weightlifting champions. And his whole, training schedule was based around, he was born on a farmland. All right. So he had a lot of cattle around him. So when a baby calf was born, he took the baby calf. Anybody, I'm sure, can, easily lift a baby calf. Right. And he kept lifting that baby calf every single day till he became a bull. Okay. And that's how he improved his strength. So as the baby calf kept growing over a period of time, so he kept giving his body. So the body didn't realize that the body got so used to lifting that, okay, that for the body, it was like it was still lifting that baby calf only. Right. And that is the reason why we continuously keep telling people, people have this crazy goals. oh, I want to lose, 10 kilos in a month. We said we don't do it. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you have to lose 10 kilos or you got to lose, 50 kilos. Okay. Lose 1 kilo a week. Okay. That's like hardly, a little over 150 grams. Then stabilize. Okay. The stabilize part is very, very important, because when you stabilize, you start to not give body a shock treatment. Okay, let's say somebody is 80 and wants to get to, 72 or 68. Okay, so when he goes from 80 to 79, okay, and you stabilize on that 79, and the body gets used to that 79 weight, it doesn't know. Then you start reducing another. So the body doesn't feel that you lost 12 kilos. Body just keeps feeling that, oh, you're losing only just 1 kilo, right? So lose 1 kilo at a time, 12 times to make the 12 kilos, rather than give the body a shock. Because when you do that, it's completely senseless, because as soon as you get off the program or something, the weight will just bounce back, and it will in fact bounce back with a vengeance, because you starved your body, which is not a very good idea ever, right? And then all of a sudden, you will notice that the body will crave more, store more, because it's like, pada nahi, when will this guy get a jhatka, and he will stop, providing me the necessary food. So the body's tendency will be to store. And once the body's tendencies get to store, that is where you start hearing, things, Are, mera to vajan, my weight is never going down. If I smell food, my weight goes up. Yeah. I can assure you, by smelling food, weight doesn't go up. It's a simple game of calorie in, calorie out, exercise input and exercise out. Doesn't matter at what level technology will go. Doesn't matter what will be the advancement in science. There are a lot of these diets and all. Okay. But you cannot go away from the very basic here. You see, like, just take a simple example. In the Nazi prison, okay, you didn't find a fat guy here. There were no calories, and everybody was thin only. Okay. All the POWs who came out, you didn't see one fat guy coming out yet. They were all undernourished, and, they were thin. So obviously, it's very simple that if the calorie reduces and the output is more, you're going to lose weight. If your intake is more and your output is less, which is exactly what is happening nowadays, with this kind of. So coming back to, your question, that why did this guy do it, and, would it raise some questions into that? Yes, he has gone out of our basic formula. Okay. He has done too much for his age, which has caused oxidative stress, which has caused free radical damage, which is what is the basic cause of, any kind of cancer. Yeah. Okay. And not taken enough antioxidants. Okay. To just, go a little, I'll backtrack the story a little bit. 2010, I did my last Asian Games. I was at that time 50. All right. Most of the coaches were younger than me, of other countries. And I used to take something like 10 omega-3 capsules. And all this is, totally legal, because omega ensures that it keeps the inflammation low, keeps your stress levels low. And I was feeling like, even at that time, we won a silver in that event. And people say that, if were you younger, could you have won the gold? I said, no, it has nothing to do with the physical stuff, It was, there were some other things that were attached to it, which made us lose the gold. But winning the silver was still a good enough stuff, at that age. And I made sure that my stress levels remain low by taking enough, antioxidants and enough stuff that kept my body going for for this hectic competition. Because in our sport, we got to compete for at least a week before we could get the medal, right? So answering your question, this guy broke the basic formula. Okay, he went too much. I'll stretch a little bit further over here. That let's assume that you have a very fit guy, and he's been fit for, like, say, 20 years or 25 years. And all of a sudden he stops. Then he gets a chatka after 10 years. He wakes up. Arey yaar, let's get back to running. Now it's extremely dangerous. I tell people that, it's just, I met somebody that day, okay, he's running 10 kilometers. I said, take it easy. Even if you have to run, build it slowly, do 2 kilometers, stabilize, hold it for a week, then go to maybe 3 or 4, and then stabilize again. Keep on stabilizing so that the body doesn't come under a shock. So suppose a guy was doing like 20 kilometers, okay, every day, and then all of a sudden he stops, and for 10 years he does nothing, and then again he says, okay, see now how the mind will play. So I should do 20, let me start with 10.
Correct.
Maybe 10 years later might be too much, and he could again get caught in that little trap of doing too much and not having the ability to feel the body. Okay, as I said earlier, that very few people have the gift to feel the body. Fortunately for me, if I'm getting a common cold, I will know as soon as the virus has attacked me. And I will virtually talk to the virus. Okay, buddy, bad luck, you attacked the wrong person. You're going to die, right? And sure enough, for more than a few decades, I probably get a common cold once every, 15 or 20 years. So this is what something you have to be very careful about. We encourage people to not, go berserk on your training. Okay. Slow is fast. Give your body the right amount of nutrition and the right amount of exercise. Not to, it's very good that you asked this question, because I've repeated this probably 100 times.
Correct.
I probably repeat it, another 100 times, because I have no problems doing that, because nobody listens when you repeat it the first time. And repetition is the mother of all teaching. So I'll keep repeating this till it will strike people that this is not just a sentence, and this is also not just a phrase. It has got a huge, deep meaning behind it. Yeah. Give the body the right amount of nutrition, not too much and not too little. Give the body the right amount of exercise, not too much and not too little. They form the safest way to it. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Farokh, this also takes us to three questions interconnected. So I'll come to them one by one. Three interconnected questions. Now, the first question is, these days we get to hear a lot about people. They feel that they are doing everything correct, the exercise, and I'm talking about the young people, and also a lot of people who feel that they don't eat anything wrong, and they do the exercise also, their pattern is good, but suddenly there is a rise in the cholesterol level, the liver is fatty, and also they are pre-diabetic or they are in the diabetic state. Now, one common thing in all these people that I've seen is eating late night dinners, because the job profile is such. Somebody might be in police or somebody is somewhere, like they reach home late in the evening and then डिनर. सो ये जो डिनर, लेट डिनर का कोरिलेशन, फैटी लिवर, इज देयर अ कोरिलेशन विद कोलेस्ट्रॉल, फैटी लिवर, प्री डायबिटिक, स्ट्रोक डायबिटिक, is there a correlation with this?
See, on many sessions in our programs on Mondays and Fridays, okay, I've said this, that I hope you had early dinner, because there's nothing worse that you can do is to break the circadian rhythm. Yeah. All right. Have a late night dinner and then go to sleep. Now, most of these guys that you are talking about, they're not aware of this concept of circadian rhythm. Okay, and that is why communities like this are important, which shares the right knowledge. I'm sure that once they understand, see, if you tell a kid, hey, have your dinner at 6:30, the kid's not going to have it. If the kid understands why he has to have the dinner at 6:30, then the kid will have the dinner at 6:30. Okay. Why is this so important? There is this whole theory that of lysosomes, of course, it's a full session, right? So you need, now what has happened over the years is that 50 years ago, 60 years ago, children normally used to go to sleep by 8 o'clock. Okay, that 8 has become 9. Pata nahi kab ho gaya. Okay, through the decades. 9 has become 10, 10 has become 11, 11 has become 12, and now it's going into 1, 2. And now that day I was going down and I was, one of my neighbors coming out, and I said, okay, look what is happening. I'm getting up, okay, and my child is going to sleep. Okay. And can you please explain, her, okay, this is not good. I said, don't even try, because that is what children today think. That is a cool thing to do. But for any nonsense that you do in life, you are permitted to do. But there's a price to be paid. Okay, at the end of the day, you will pay a price. All right. And this is the price that this generation is facing today. I mean, I'm shocked today to find 26-year-old with cholesterol levels of, LDL at 300 and, pre-diabetic and having thyroid problems and having this lifestyle problems. And the reason is because, again, technology is the, villain over here. All right. हमारे जमाने में there was no food only available here after 8, 9. Restaurants used to close down. Today at 2 in the morning, you can call Swiggy or Zomato or whatever, and food will be delivered. Even in a garden, you can get food. And I was, trying to explain this to a 20-year-old that day. And he said, okay, you guys are just jealous because in your days it wasn't there. Now it is there. So let's have fun. I said, okay, yeah, you can have fun as long as you know there's a price to be paid. And then he started to listen, when I said, okay, look, there's a price, every action has consequences. So this action also has consequences. Okay. If you don't care, God has given you only one body. God has given you only one liver. All right. If you don't care, then there's nobody else, who's going to replace it for you. Yeah. You are going to suffer at the end of the day.
But sir, a lot of people come late from office and they feel that's the family time. So what's your advice? Because that's the only stable time which is available in this
See,
very
somebody,
lifestyle.
a few years ago, somebody gave me the same excuse
Yeah.
that, dinner, this is the problem. And I just asked a simple question. Where do you have your lunch? In the
Office.
office.
Yeah.
So if you can have lunch in the office, why can't you have dinner in the office?
See,
That's
that's
simple.
the emotional family time, but that's the emotional family time where the family sits together and eat together. So
No.
what's the real harm the late night dinner does to your body? Like we have understood it is doing some harm, but
Yeah, the real harm is that the time given, okay, to your lysosomes to eat away all your dead cells and, the cancer cells and all that. Now, if at that time, instead of doing this dirty work for your body, if you provide them with food, वो फिर उसको क्यों खाएगा यार? If you give somebody something easy, why will he do what it's supposed to, the slightly difficult work to do? And this is another thing that easy is overrated. Okay, comfort is overrated. Because in the name of comfort, I often tell people that today comfort has been given, so much importance that even your home cooked kitchen food has become 50% processed. Like instead of, putting tomatoes into your, fresh tomatoes in your food, you'll either put tomatoes that were bought a week ago, which were lying in the refrigerator, or even worse, you'll open a Tetra Pak and pour tomato puree. Now, opening a Tetra Pak and putting tomato puree in your food for cooking is so convenient. But is this giving you the correct health? How much is it destroying your health? Right? Each of those processed food and all is the root cause of today's lifestyle problems. So, guys, you need to understand this, that you have got to focus in trying to get food from the right sources. You have to focus in eating the food at the right time. Yeah, if there is family time or something, I'll give you a simple example, like you rightfully brought out this family time issue. Okay. Is it necessary that family time should be at dinner time? Can't you have family time minus dinner?
correct.
Okay, so it's all a mindset. And I often say that if your thinking does not change, nothing changes. The same in sports. Okay, I go out, I see people training. I say, you continue doing that for 100 years, you won't win. Why? Because their mindset has not changed. Their thinking has not changed. In order to go from, say, a 10th position to a first position, the thinking needs to change. Okay, you cannot have the thinking of the 10th guy and hope to win. In order to win, you must have the thinking of the guy who's winning. Okay, same thing over here. If your thinking doesn't change, okay, nothing changes. You will keep on making any excuses or hundreds of excuses. But you don't, in order to do something right, you need just one good reason to do it. Okay, you may have 100 reasons why you can't do it, but if you have got one good reason that why you should be doing that, you will do it. And once a family understands that, they will find other ways to make family time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty clear in my mind that family time does not mean that time at dinner. Okay, you can have 9 o'clock family time. उसमें क्या हुआ? 10 o'clock को family time बना सकते हो. Okay. You can go on a holiday with your family and have family time. Yeah. You can do various things to create family time. But to give this silly excuse that, and why do they do it? Because it was convenient. Okay. And as I keep repeating, convenience is overrated. Okay. Convenience becomes very inconvenient when somebody from your family lands up in the hospital. Okay. The whole family becomes inconvenient. Yeah.
Correct. For a lot of people, like for example, who've got a slightly higher cholesterol level or they are more closer to the diabetic level, they feel that if they run and they start running, they can correct that. Now, how is it that over focusing on holistic health? Because I've seen you focusing a lot on holistic health program for anything and everything. Like you talk about gut health. So how important it is to focus on holistic health rather than just like focus here there or doing something to bring down the levels.
See, uh, it is very important that when you focus on holistic health, you look at your whole health, okay? And you're just not treating the symptoms. The minute you get into the chakkar of just treating a symptom, like somebody has high sugar, he takes medicine, sugar comes down, doesn't understand the basic science behind it, that is actually killing that person. All right. So when you start sort of just taking like we found that today with technology, you can monitor, there are patches available. You can have that same thing recorded on your phone. So you're getting live, vitals of your sugar levels second by second. Imagine how cool is that? I mean, use the technology in the right way, right? Once you have that technology available with you and you fix that patch, you are monitoring your sugar levels. Just after a meal, go out for a brisk walk, okay, even for 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, and you see the way how quickly the sugar levels drop. Now, when people see that and relate, they can start to imagine how they can see hope. I often say that false hope sometimes better than no hope. But here the question is not of false hope. Here is true science, because this stuff is backed with science. Because as soon as you move, okay, the body starts to produce the right amount of insulin, and the sugar level starts getting consumed in your body. Your sugar levels drop, and you don't have to be on medication. I can challenge anybody that it is very easy, okay, to get off diabetic medication if you just follow some simple things, so the right food habits, the right amount of exercise, and you exercise, a little bit after every meal, and your problem's gone. You don't have to rely on medication for years, which will create some side effects, which will have effect on your kidney, will have effect on your liver, will make fatty liver, then your kidneys will fail, and then your whole, you are on now from 2 tablets, you go to 4 tablets, from 4 tablets, you go to 6 tablets, from 6 tablets, you don't know, it becomes like so many tablets. That day I was reading a joke that there was this petty officer in the army, okay, who went to, the clinic to collect his monthly dose of medication. And when he collected them, in the armed forces, sometimes things are a little lopsided. So they couldn't find the exact dosage. Say, let's say it's for 1000 mg. If they got, 500 mg, they'll give you 2. If you need for 500 mg, it's got tod ke kha lo. So he took all those medication, and then there was this Commodore sitting beside him, and he couldn't, for the life of him understand. He's saying, you're taking all this stuff, but how do you know what to take when? He's saying, you are very right, sir. So what I do is that I go and mix it up, everything, and then I just collect whatever comes every day, and I see over a period of month, I would have taken everything in any case, right? So now this is not just a joke, it's a true story, So if people start treating medicine like this, right, they're bound to get into, guaranteed, it's 100% predictable that they'll get into more and more trouble over the years.
Farokh, in holistic health, you also advocate a lot about the role of supplementation and how to identify the right supplements. And like in your pillars of great health, which is your sleep, the food timing, what to eat, and there is also importance being given to this subject. So can you please share that why supplements are important and how does one identify like what is right for a person?
See, since I was so involved in sports, if you ask a sports person that would you like to have more energy? And the answer will be always yes. Why a sports person? You ask anybody, would you like to have more energy? The answer will be yes. Okay. So we were always looking for more energy. And then the more we studied, the more we realized that even if there is a deficiency of a single micronutrients are, nutrients are to be taken in very, very small quantities. But even if there's a deficiency of one micronutrient, you may feel fatigue. And at the highest level, at the Olympic level, I've noticed that people because of such things, people have made errors of confusing between right and left in all the stress that they are, in an event. So imagine if people at such high levels of fitness and, at that highest sporting levels, if they can get confused with one micronutrient, normal people won't even realize. And that is how they get confused in life, that why they are making sometimes bad decisions, why they behaved in a particular fashion, because there was deficiency over there. So the food that you eat gives a certain amount of nutrition. Your body requires a certain amount of nutrition. Now, if there is a gap, okay, between the nutrition required by the body and the nutrition being supplied by the food that you are eating, which over the years has been reducing, for eating the same food, the nutrition in that food is reducing decade after decade. There's enough studies to, tell you that. So when this nutrition level in the food is reducing and the nutrition level required by the body is, remaining the same, there is a gap, and this gap needs to be bridged by a good quality supplementation. Now why did I say good quality supplementation? Because there is a lot of bad quality supplementation available in the market. With that comes a lot of bad articles on supplementation. Again, half knowledge is dangerous. Okay. My idea of a good supplement is that the source should be good, it should be organic, and it should be safe. Once you check off all these boxes, then you know that you're on the right. And that is the reason why we, encourage on this group, to go into this supplementation, which is now, this company is Nutralite is now 91 years old. And they have, taken it to the next level. There is nobody in the world who comes anywhere, even a close second to the supplements, that are provided by Nutralite. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because when I was about, 35 and I'd been, playing the game for a long time, I was pretty tired, I was worn out, and I felt that I couldn't, play the game anymore. My knees were hurting, my bones were hurting. And suddenly when I saw, I was searching for something to, revive my body. When I found Nutralite, and I started taking it in huge quantities after, of course, doing a lot of research because I was very scared about WADA. and I found that, these are really safe and these are really, coming from organic source. The kind of care that they take, with their plants. Sometimes you wonder that, people in India don't even take that much care of their own children. So that kind of care is taken over there. And then you're getting the stuff, so pure, so, so organic that, you feel that, okay, you're in safe hands and you can, gradually start taking them and, bridge that level. That is the reason why supplementation is the way to go. For example, if you were living on an organic farm where you were growing all your fruits and vegetables and eating from there, okay, we've done a lot of study on blue zones where people, where people above 100, are in large quantities. And people have figured out that what is a common thing in them? The common thing was simple. They had the right nutrition, and by default, they were exercising. They were not running marathons. And you know what was the other thing that shocked me that day when I went through that all these 5 zones are in different, more or less different continents. And yet there was one thing common in all the 5 zones, that none of these none of these blue zones had hospitals. So imagine, without hospitals, how are these guys living above 100? Isn't that some food for thought? That, okay, something that they are doing right, na? It just can't be by sheer accident. Yeah, over, years that they have been living for such a long time. So two things. You're having the right nutrition by default, and they're having the right exercise by default. They are doing gardening, they're doing something or the other. And of course, there was one more thing over there which was common is they had good social circles. Okay. So, this man is a social animal. Okay. When I say man, it includes man and woman. Right? And they need society around you. Many people, you find that as they grow older and, their children have gone away, they feel so lonely. And it is the loneliness which kills them more than anything else. So supplementation today is no longer an option. Okay. It is a complete necessity. The same way, like maybe 100 years ago, everybody did not have a refrigerator. But today, refrigerator is not an option. Okay. It's a necessity. The same thing over here, that unless you're living on your own organic farm and growing your own organic produce, you need good quality supplementation to stay away from the deficiencies, macro and the micro deficiencies, to ensure that the body is given the right amount of nutrition and you will be away from lifestyle challenges and diseases.
Thank you, Farokh. And one last question for the evening, and then we'll wrap up. And ladies and gentlemen, in case you have any questions, you can raise your hands, or else you can get in touch with the person who's invited you over here. Farokh, one last question for the evening. You talk a lot about health span and lifespan. How important it is to be for a person if they join the community? Why joining the community is important for them to understand that how they can improve their health span in comparison to the lifespan?
Still, lifespan, I said already, I really answered this question earlier, that technology today can keep a dead man alive. All right. And that's the reason why people are now restoring to living wills. I was very impressed when I started reading about it, that people are now actually, getting conscious of the fact, hey, I don't want my next generation to, I don't want to put them in a scenario where they have got to make a difficult call. It's such a difficult call to make, So put the guy on a ventilator. Most of them, in most cases, it's totally unnecessary. It just drains people's finances. And also, it doesn't give that person any quality of life either. So the main difference between health span and lifespan is that while medicine can keep your lifespan, can increase your lifespan, okay, it cannot really increase your health span. And if you want to increase your health span and get your health span and lifespan, close to each other, then you have to adopt some healthy practices, which will give you good holistic health.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Farokh, for bringing all these insights and which can help us to understand better and take the right choices in our life. So thank you for your time and for all these points. And we are sure that Farokh mentioned a lot of points, and at times it becomes very confusing कि एक इंसान को क्या इतना चीज याद रखने की जरूरत है. And that is the importance that when you join the community, you are a part of that WhatsApp community. You learn this every day, and this is what helps you to build the right habits. And once you've taken the right habits, uh, you never have to worry about all these things. So yeah, so thank you very much, Farokh, for bringing in all these insights to us. And ladies and gentlemen, you've been a great audience. Yeah,
Sorry, there is
well,
one question in the
yeah,
chat.
please, yeah, please go ahead.
Farooq, there's one question which is, can we give Nutrilite all plant protein to a kidney patient with the creatinine level of 2.1?
The simple answer is yes, but the long answer is that we need to look at all the vitals and then understand how it is to begin. Now, the important thing about protein is that protein is the building block of life. Okay, you cannot, people, please understand this. You cannot survive without protein. So if you get so focused, in trying to save the kidney, the person will surely die. Okay, because nobody can survive without protein. Protein is the building block of life, and continuous, you need 1 gram of protein per kilo of body weight, and continuous deficiency of protein over a period of time will kill a person for sure. Okay, so now this is like a typical example of where the focus is so much on the kidney, right? And again, they are right in doing that, because there is a lot of bad protein available, right? And why all plant protein over here scores is that it has got a PDCAS score of 1. And because it has got a PDCAS score of 1, it does not leave any residue behind. And because it doesn't leave any residue, it's not going to have any impact on your kidneys. And so it's like doing both the things, achieving both the things, giving the body the protein also required, and you're looking after the kidney also. All right.
I hope that gets answered. There is one more question.
The protein
Also,
is leaking into the urine for that
okay.
person. So any suggestions?
Sorry?
The same patient, the protein is leaking into the urine of that person, and hence any suggestions?
No, is it all plant protein that is leaking over there?
No, I think it is in the report. Kaushik ji, I think you need to share the report of the
Yeah.
person. Then probably we can.
Yeah, we can discuss this one on
Then we
one.
can discuss this at a much detailed level rather than just hypothetically answering this, right? So thank you very much, Farokh, and thank you for all the insights that you gave us today. And it'll definitely ये कुछ तार जरूर खोल देगा. बहुत सारे चीजें open हो जाती हैं यहाँ से, and this is what will help us to take charge of our health. So thank you everybody, and you've been a great audience. Thank you. Good night.